Was 2020 just the summer of gold? And how long will it continue?
Stacking Cat.
Hello YouTube, and welcome to the Stacking Kat channel, where I talk all things silver with a little bit of gold, and thank you to everyone for watching, and if you could please subscribe, smash that like button, and share this video, that would be awesome. Alright, so as I said in the intro, I want to talk about gold and how it's progressed through the year 2020. It's kind of, a lot of people have transitioned away from silver. Still stacking silver, but just maybe not as much, more into gold. But before I get into that, I want to just make a quick channel announcement, and that is to make sure that you tune in on Monday, September 7th of 2020. There is going to be a major announcement. I promise you, you will not want to miss this, what it's going to be. Also, you're going to want to check out the Silver Nitrate YouTube channel as well on September 7th. Around 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. You will not want to miss it. I promise you that. All right, so let's get into this video. And I wanted to get into gold. And I want to start this off by saying that I am not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who likes to talk about stacking precious metals, primarily silver and gold. And this one is going to be, maybe a little more for the seasoned stacker or those who began stacking silver and gold prior to March 2020. But this is good information for new stackers as well. And much of the theory that I have about this transition to gold is based on my own experiences, such as talking with various dealers at a few different LCSs and what they've seen from people coming in and purchasing precious metals, or even selling precious metals for that matter, watching the trends regarding online sales and the enthusiasm as well, and what I've been seeing here on YouTube throughout a lot of other channels here in our silver stacking community. It seems that a lot more people are putting their money into precious metals, and most of us are like-minded individuals in that regard. And so just various videos and conversation throughout the community has experienced a bit of a paradigm shift in strategy, and many more videos about gold than what we once saw. I remember watching videos back in 2019, just a year ago, and there weren't too many that really were too specific on gold. That has really changed once this summertime is hit, and really since March of this year. And so one of the things that has changed was my gold stacking goal for 2020. I wanted to accumulate around 2 ounces of gold. However, for reasons I will be talking about throughout this video, it has grown to over 4 ounces, and I have right here about 3.5, a little less than 3.5 ounces. I have a few other gold pieces that are in slabs that I don't really have room on, in the camera, so I won't be showing those. Nothing major, nothing too special, just some bullion gold pieces. And conversely, my silver stacking goals have not met expectations, and this is for a variety of reasons that I will be getting into further. So I'm going to bring up the market charts, and we will go over what has happened throughout the past year, through March, and into where we are in September. All right, so I brought up a couple of charts here from kitco.com, and the first one is silver from September of 2019 through September of 2020. We could see that silver was pretty steady around 17 or 18 until March, saw that big dip down to under 12, leveled out, and then the big rise at the end of July. Now, during this time, specifically from March until now, premiums have been high and availability remains low or somewhat muted, as there's still a lot of pre-sale items. And I think due to this factor, a lot of people have moved on to gold. They've seen the value in gold. Now, here is a chart going over the same time frame. We could see it was in the 1500 range, started going up, bottomed out in March a little bit, and then steadily rose until the big rise, of course, at the end of July, just like silver, almost at 2100. It's sitting in the mid 1900s right now, and the premiums have stayed relatively the same, a little bit higher than they were before March, but not too much. And I think due to the lack of silver and the availability of gold, a lot of people are making that move. And so as I get into my little theory that I have on why so many more people are moving to gold, big things have happened in 2020, and that could be one of the understatements of all time. We have the pandemic. We're in the middle of some economic insecurity. We have the debasement of the US dollar. Just a perfect stew of everything, has been brewing. Silver mines have been closing. All that stuff I'm going to get into, and why people are moving towards gold. So first, I kind of want to get into the differences between silver and gold accumulation. And this is how I approach it. And everyone has different strategies. And this just happens to be mine. So I first want to get into why I stack silver and gold to begin with. I stack silver as a hedge against the inevitable inflation associated with a fiat system of currency. There is much more flexibility, I think, with silver in terms of either holding or selling parts of my stack. And silver is a utility metal, as its price is rooted in its industrial aspects, as well as possible or even a probable need in case of an overwhelming financial failure. Let's hope it doesn't get to that. Now, my thoughts on gold are rather simple. It is used as a way to store and preserve wealth. Now, I view both metals as long-term holds, however. So why are people turning to gold? That is the question. And I think a lot of it, or at least some of it, has to do with the premiums associated with silver, as well as its lack of availability. And we saw this back in March when silver dipped to that price under 12. It was in the high 11s, as I just showed in the chart. And a lot of people wanted to jump on that silver bandwagon for the cheap price. However, due to worldwide mine closures, the temporary suspension of some of the major mints, such as the US Mint and the Royal Canadian Mint and others, led to a bit of a panic amongst the sellers, amongst the dealers. They did not know when more silver was going to be coming in. They did not want to get caught with their pants down, so to speak. So the premiums were heightened. Silver was not really available any longer. They were, a lot of these sites and a lot of our local coin shops were sold out, and people had to make a move. Now, gold still saw a little bit of a premium increase as well. So I don't want to say they're off the hook in that matter, but not as much as silver. And I think one of the reasons why the premiums went up in silver, other than the reasons that I just mentioned, was the availability of the American Silver Eagle. Like I just said, the US Mint was closed. These 2020s were not being produced for a while, and everybody was looking for that American Silver Eagle. They just were not available. Let's be honest, the American Silver Eagle, it is the most popular silver bullion coin worldwide. And as it goes, the market on silver bullion goes. So if the price of the Eagle was going to be, the premiums were $10 over, $12 over, they couldn't easily start selling some of the other stuff at their normal $2 or $3 over. It just would not have made good fiscal sense for them. And so the Maple Leafs, the Britannias, the Kangaroos, some of the standards, the Philharmonics, saw their prices go up. The Krugerrands, everything saw their price go up. And then what ended up happening is we saw a little bit of growth in the summer in price, and premiums started going down until August, when silver kind of shot through the roof a little bit and went up about $10 on average. And premiums were still not reflecting that rise in price. More people were jumping into the precious metals market. A lot of people, rightfully so, saw this as a way, as a hedge, like I said, against inflation. And with the current economic uncertainty we've been experiencing, it just seemed like a smart move. And so something else that really played into gold's favor was that it was forecasted, or it has been forecasted, anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 to $5,000 an ounce and up. And now gold has a lot more mainstream appeal, I would say, than silver. A lot more people, a lot of your newbies out there, I guess you would call it, see silver or see gold in a different light. Like I said, it's always been seen as a sign of wealth, of preserving your wealth and savings. And I think a lot of people started to move to gold really based on those reasons. And so I'm showing you some fractional gold here, and I'll kind of get into why I stack fractional gold, for example, as opposed to full ounces. And a lot of it has to do with the price. I'm just not able to go all in on a full ounce of gold. You know, I did pick up a gold buffalo. It was my, one big purchase, the biggest purchase I've made since I've been stacking gold and silver or any type of coinage. That's it right here. My favorite gold bullion coin has to be. Still is, always will be, until something, maybe the new Eagle that comes out will beat it, I don't know. But this thing is definitely unique. One of a kind. It's also 4 nines fine. So back to the fractional gold and why I like stacking that. It's back to that flexibility factor that I talked about with silver. If you ever had to liquidate, fractional gold would be much easier to do so. I wouldn't have to sell a full ounce, unless, of course, I needed that much cash. But you'll have to deal with a little bit higher premiums when doing it this way. But for me, it makes much more sense financially. And if you've been watching my videos, I talk about this every time I show gold. I am a pre-33 fanatic. I'm in love with the stuff. The history of it mainly. Now, it is a little bit less than a quarter ounce compared to the American Gold Eagle, which is exactly a quarter ounce. Now, it is not full gold. It's 22 karat or thereabouts, 0.916 of an ounce. That's another thing about this gold. I love the shiny silver, but, there's just nothing like holding a piece of gold in your hands. All right, so kind of to recap on what I've been talking about in this video, the transition from silver to gold that we've seen, and I've noticed it started in March of 2020 when the markets went haywire, when the pandemic hit, and I've seen it kind of progress to where we're at now, and it just seems like gold is what a lot of people are going for a lot more than had in the past. It's always been the more expensive metal. Silver is a lot more affordable if you're stacking, as that hedge. Like I said, it's more of a utility metal. It's still a precious metal, but it's more of a utility metal. Gold has that financial security that I think a lot of people like. So I think that's one of the reasons why we've seen movement towards this stuff right here. Okay, so what do you guys think? Have you been stacking more gold yourself? The forecasts, do you think it'll hit $5,000 an ounce? And if so, when will it be? I mean, if it's in like 2040 or 2050, by that time, who knows what's going to be going on? Is silver going to hit that $50 mark eventually? Is this going to be years down the road? Is it a little more overblown? We're going to have to wait and see. These past few months have been like no other. Maybe the closest you could refer back to is between 2008 and 2011, 2012-ish. I don't know. I think this is a different monster. We're in a much different situation right now. And so, yeah, I mean, gold is looking like where it's at. Now, I still stack silver. I still love silver. Just waiting for these premiums to come down a little bit, and I'll be stacking these Eagles again. And I'm still buying some stuff here and there, but a lot more gold than I previously anticipated for this year, 2020, the summer of gold. Alright, so that is going to do it then for this video. And if you'd like to see similar videos about silver with a little bit of gold, then please subscribe and push that notification bell, smash that like button, and leave a comment. And until next time, this is the Stacking Cat.